Your life resets to 1990 and you have all of your current knowledge? How do you take control of the world? I would go to that dinner party with Stephen Hawking for time travelers. I bet someone was there but Stephen Hawking didn't tell their secret. As a 13-year-old, I'd buy every .com website for every product or celebrity I could think of. The low effort, high reward choice. Good call. Buy a heap of stock in a small San Francisco internet search company. Edit, because I can't spell. You could buy Google outright. If I remember, Brin and Page were wanting to sell Google for about $1 million while they were still in college. You would have just needed to invest in Yahoo first. I don't think that would be a good idea because it might change the course of how the company evolved. Best just to buy a huge stake and let the whole thing play out. I'd be an awkwardly intelligent fetus in 5 years. Step 2. IBM stock up to early 2000s. Step 3. Apple stock up to 2010. Step 4. Bitcoin up to December 2017. Step 1. Convince my parents 1-year-old Tolok 42 is not possessed. I'd tell my mom to go check for cancer before it spreads too far. Then spend all that extra time having her around just being a kid and enjoying life and secretly investing in safe stock I can cash in when I'm old enough to enjoy it. Sports betting. Or investing in something stupid. Like that Apple company. I looked it up on Investopedia. And the current ROI for money spent on Apple at the IPO is roughly 45,000% today. So if you kept dumping accumulated growth back into the stock while taking advantage of the 97 major split, possibly even jumping on Amazon in 1997, or Microsoft's boom in 1999, you'd have some serious ownership to diversify fully into Google in 2004. But you could create a giant overnight. Since by then the whole stock market would be following you like Warren Buffett. You could be a trillionaire by now. To that end, I'd stay off of sports betting and such because it would really turn your good business instincts into a nationwide "wait, what the duck is going on with this dude?" Invest $1,000 in Bitcoin around launch. Sell when it peaked at 19k in DEC. 2017. By May 2010 when it was 0.01 per coin. Laugh at family when they tell me I need a job. Maybe start an art studio. 1.9 billion. I joined the Tres Comma Club. Why would you only invest $1,000? 2010. I'd probably have like £150 I could invest. I'd need to go get a weekend job during school so I could invest more than that. Knowing what I know now, I don't want to take control of the world. I would spend more time with my dad. The biggest problem I have is that I can't remember everything precisely enough. I don't remember a single terrorist's name except Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and Bin Laden. This means it'll be incredibly difficult to stop 9/11. I can't remember what year eBay or Google was founded off the top of my head. So there's little chance I'll find the right people to do an startup investment. Also, what if I accidentally buy out someone critical in the development of the company and they end up doing something else? I don't remember what year what disaster occurred. Much less the day and month. Fukushima. The Pacific tsunami. Even the London apartment fire. Which was recent. It would probably be awful. Trying so hard to change terrible events and also be careful about investing properly without breaking something. Edit. I think what some people are missing is this. Do you recall only from memory? When Google got big. eBay? etc. Unless you have a lot of capital. Buying into it when it first goes public requires a lot of money. When Facebook went public, the buy-in minimum was something like $2 million. Which means you're going to have to remember when stocks went up and down. Additionally, what some people missed is if you bet a lot of stock in a company, you drive up prices. If you own a significant percent, you might also be a deciding vote for CEO. So you might drive away a critical investor who impacts the trajectory of the company. It's pretty complicated. All round. Buy the right stocks. Support my family forever. push my husband to go on all the archaeological digs his heart desires instead of having to leave the field for better paying work. Travel with him as the nurse for each site. Overall, just do what actually makes us happy. BC we can afford to. Majority of these responses are investment related. If I was my current age in 1990, I'd become an actor, knowing which shows movies to audition for, and use my newfound fame to bang 90s Jennifer Aniston. In 1990 I would be 3.5-4 years old. Financial. I would be too young to make it into any of the .com stuff, but I would save up until the MLB playoffs in 2004. And place a bet on the Red Sox to come back from being down 3-0 in the ALCS to win the World Series. I would roll that money into early investments in Google, Facebook etc. Until 2008. That's when I would short the banks and housing markets. Use that money to buy up commercial and residential property and build a steady income from leasing and rental while also investing in Bitcoin. Personal life: spend more time with my father and grandparents. Date more in my 20s. Ask those girls you regret not asking out. Leave that party before the cops show up. Disasters: I wouldn't be able to stop Hurricane Katrina or that tsunami. But with my newfound wealth and knowledge of their coming, I would prepare amazing responses to maximize lives saved while also getting tons of great press coverage and celebrity. This is where the real plan starts. People will be amazed that I have never made an incorrect prediction about the outcome of any political decision and worship my heroic forethought. They will beg me to run for president and they will throw me a parade the day I dissolve the Senate and crown myself dictator of the world. Edit. Then in 2018, as my magical foresight abilities became useless, I would gracefully step down from the role of world dictator and restore a global democracy. Retiring to my private island compound to live out my days drinking rum on a beach surrounded by beautiful women without bathing suits. Obviously investing blah blah, but on the 9th of November 2001 I would pay a homeless man to call in a gun threat at 6 AM to the WTC and all airlines that had a hijacked plane to get everyone evacuated. Otherwise they would think I coordinated it. What if the homeless man takes your money and doesn't call in the threat? Then I can have a guilt-free conscience knowing I did all I could. I would prove to everyone that I knew what was going to happen by making predictions that all come true. Then I would spread rumors that the guy who bullied me in first grade grows up to be gay. Take that, Brock. What kinda name is Brock anyways? Oh, then I'd go into the stock market. Everyone would assume that everything I invest in is going to get huge. So I invest in things like Blockbuster. Then I sell it all and make billions while at the same time bankrupting the world's 1%. Now I'm the 1%. Duck you, Brock. I hate you. Wait for bitcoins to be invented. Proceed to buy them at lowest market value, cash out and wait. The wife will then turn to me and say, "What are we going to do tonight?" To which I will respond the same thing we do every night. "Darling, try to take over the world." Bitcoin was at its lowest ever in March 2010 where it was 1 cent per Bitcoin. It was even lower the year before when it took 10,000 BTC to buy a pizza. There were no exchanges then and you either mined them or bought them off a random person online. Obviously putting money into certain stocks is a great way to get rich. For me, knowing that I had a daughter, and then going back and knowing the outcome and the specific circumstances needed to get her into my life. It would be heart-wrenching to go through life knowing you're going to get hurt, and that you have to go through that to get the most wonderful thing I could imagine. I honestly probably wouldn't be able to take over the world as the depression and anxiety set in. Assuming I'm still 23. I'd straight up write "never mind" by Nirvana. I probably wouldn't be as successful as the real Nirvana cause they actually had personality. But, duck it. Alternate timeline. They had their fame. Start Netflix. Then an Amazon Prime-esque shipping infrastructure and then spend the rest of the money philanthropically. Run for president in 2016. Then I turn evil but everybody knows me fondly so they roll with it. USA goes renegade. Annexes Canada and from there we posture for control of Russian energy deposits by force and they acquiesce because fantasy. Boom. I control America and Europe by proxy of energy supply. Then I clone my dog indefinitely. Appoint him as head of state. And plays box for the rest of my life because my work is done. I'd buy as many IP addresses as possible. Then set up DNS servers. Also invest in AOL. Sell before the .com bust. Invest in Google later on. And then sit back and wait. I should have bought an IP address back then. Well, considering that 1991 marked the collapse of the Soviet Union, I prevent this from happening by launching a coup against Gorbachev. And then invade West Germany. Then the rest of Europe. Then the United States. Since I'm a front-end developer familiar with both, I'd invent a popular front-end JavaScript framework and call it React or AngularJS. I'd warn my aunt to get checked earlier and maybe she might be able to beat cancer this time. I really don't care about the money I could get with the knowledge I'd have. I'd just like to spend more time with her. Take control of the world? Bruh. I'll be happy to just make it through middle school without being a total dweeb this time around. Create the first smartphone. I presently know electronics well enough to enjoy playing with a Raspberry Pi. Start working towards MP3 equals type compression immediately. Find Elon Musk. Tell him everything. Find Bill Gates. Tell him everything. Create the United Corporations of Earth. Remove all ozone-depleting chemicals from use. Utilize the world unification effort of removing CFCs to bring more countries into the fold. Make all trade free and clear of any meddlings. Accelerate technology so that I can see us on Mars in my lifetime. Tag every species due to become endangered in the next 20 years and study the hell out of them. Try to save as many as possible. Learn how we lost those creatures without knowing until it was too late. Abolish using wood and paper products for anything other than wiping your ass. All buildings should be built with concrete and steel. Abolish air conditioning. Utilize intelligent design to create homes and buildings that do not require AC. Look at termite mounds to get an idea where this idea originates. Abolish combustion as a means of creating energy for use. We already had most of the tech for batteries and whatnot available then. Just not progressed as far as today. I would push back then to get that tech to where it is today. But then, somehow no one has tried to stop 9/11. So I'll go with that. But all our first thoughts was stocks and money. Including me. Good job, Reddit. I've thought about whether a time traveler could stop 9/11. I'm not sure they could. I mean, you call up the FBI to tip them off about 9/11. And they'll want to know how you know. And what are you going to tell them? I think you'd wind up getting arrested yourself. Unless you came up with a really good cover story. If nothing terrible happened, security wouldn't have gotten better. And Al-Qaeda could easily pull off a similar attack at any other time. So stopping 9/11 wouldn't really do anything. You couldn't possibly stop a massive loss of life. The best you could do is mitigate the damage of the initial event. Ironically enough, the best thing you could do to mitigate loss of life would probably be committing an act of terrorism yourself in order to stop people who worked at the towers from getting to work that day.